thinks that, you know, action movies.
Batarfi took us to the field where he and bin Laden played soccer as teenagers.
And just looking at bring a lot of memories. And I enjoyed being a captain, really, you know, telling people what to do.
On the soccer field, Batarfi was the leader, Osama the follower.
But I would tell him what to do, and he was a good soldier. And he would follow orders. Usually, because he was taller than most of us and older, he would play in the front, because this way he could use his head to, you know, score.
Batarfi says the teenage Osama would usually take the high road. He remembers a time his friend was being bullied.
So I went running to the guy, and I pushed him away from Osama and solved the problem this way. But then Osama came to me and said, you know, if you waited a few minutes, I would have solved the problem peacefully. So this was a kind of guy who would always think of solving problems peacefully.
While Batarfi took the lead on the playing field, when it came to religion, there was no question. Osama was in charge.
Now that's the mosque we used to pray in. Yes, yes.
5 times every day, devout Muslims turned towards the holy city of Mecca to pray. Osama was always among them.
For him, it was a must.
It is something of a mystery why this son of a wealthy family was drawn to such rigid religious beliefs. Over time, Batarfi saw his best friend become even more of a fundamentalist, striving to live according to his ultra-strict interpretation of the Holy Quran.
No pictures, no music. And after that, not even TV, unless there's news.
Osama's religious devotion went beyond living a simple, pious life. He had begun to believe it was his duty to prepare to one day fight for and defend Islam. Osama's training ground, the desolate Saudi desert. The son of a multi-millionaire was now preparing for a life without luxuries or even basic essentials. A life as a holy warrior.
I hear from his brothers that when they go there, they sleep on the sand. There is no blanket if it's cold, and they, you know, like soldiers.
Batarfi had no desire to join Osama's army, so the two friends began to drift apart.
I would prefer the beach. I was more romantic. You know, I was thinking of love. He was thinking of love of God.
But how did Osama bin Laden's love of God become a mission to kill?
فإن قلوب المسلمين مليئة غيظا وبغضا للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وللرئيس الأمريكي.
What changed Osama bin Laden from a quiet, well-bred young man into the world's most wanted terrorist? What was the turning point? In the mid-70s, bin Laden married his cousin, the first of 5 wives with whom he would have at least 20 children. He became a student here at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah.
I am Jamal Khalifa, the brother-in-law of Osama bin Laden. First time I met him in King Abdulaziz University in 1976.
The 21-year-old Khalifa and bin Laden became very close.
He loved horses a lot. This is especially the Arabian horses.
When bin Laden would journey on horseback into the Saudi desert, he would travel with few supplies, always testing himself, perhaps in preparation for a different life.
We have our dates with us in our pockets and water, that's it. We sleep on the sands.
Bin Laden also took his children, seen here, into the desert, subjecting them to the same regimen.
So at least the children will feel that sometimes they have to be tough.
Despite his wealth, bin Laden also insisted on few comforts at home.
I went to visit him and I noticed that the apartment was very bare. There was no pictures, the carpet was cheap, things were, I wouldn't live there myself.
He likes to be very, very, very simple.
In Hollywood terms, bin Laden has a great backstory. My name is Peter Bergen. I met Osama bin Laden in eastern Afghanistan in March of 1997.
Peter Bergen, a CNN consultant, is the author of the Osama bin Laden I Know. This documentary is based in part on his groundbreaking reporting.
Here's the son of a billionaire who lives a very frugal, simple life. He's sleeping on the floor, he's not using air conditioning, won't even drink cold water. And I think this sort of simple life is one of the reasons that his followers find him attractive.
Bin Laden may not have lived the lifestyle of a wealthy man, but according to his close friend, he did use his wealth to save the life of his son.
His first child needed some medical attention.
Batarfi was told that bin Laden took his son to the United States.
In Washington Airport, Dallas Airport. People were surprised at the way he dressed, his wife dressed. Some of them were even taking photos. And he was kind of joking about it. We were like in a zoo.
Undoubtedly, bin Laden took his son for medical treatment to a Western country, and it's either the United States or the United Kingdom. There's some kind of controversy about that. But this would be one of the very rare occasions when bin Laden actually traveled to the West.
During this period, while studying for his degree, bin Laden worked construction projects for his father's company.
Osama always talks about his father all the time. Osama really loves his father a lot, and always he's trying to imitate him in his business and in his work.
Construction worker, university student, husband, father and survivalist, Osama bin Laden was leading one life while preparing for another. An heir to one of Saudi Arabia's wealthiest families, he did not want to stand out, at least not yet.
He doesn't like really to be a leader. Never put himself in a position to be a leader.
But that would soon change. Bin Laden was about to be swept up in a movement that would carry him from student to the leader of a holy war. It was a religious movement, one that would pit young Muslims against the establishment. It was called Sahwa, or the Islamic Awakening.
It was the Sahwa. At that time, it's all about religion and about how to practice the Islam.
The Sahwa was the Islamic awakening of the 1970s that was particularly appealing to somebody like bin Laden, who's already very religious, because this Islamic awakening suggested we're going to create more just Islamic societies around the Middle East.
He come from a generation of angry Islamists who wanted to change the Muslim world.
My name is Jamal Khashoggi. I met Osama bin Laden in 1987 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Khashoggi was himself caught up in the awakening. As a Saudi journalist, he spent time with bin Laden in Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, and later in Sudan. How was Osama bin Laden influenced by the Muslim Brotherhood?
He started with the Muslim Brotherhood in Saudi Arabia. He was very much influenced.
The Muslim Brotherhood was born in Egypt, and again bin Laden is influenced by Egyptian ideas, Egyptian political organizations and Egyptian people, and they tend to move him in a more radical and militant direction over time.
This man, Sayed Qutb, was an inspiration for the Muslim Brotherhood. He was executed in 1966 for what many believe was a trumped-up charge of attempting to overthrow the Egyptian government. His book Milestones was must-reading for jihadists and still is today. It challenges the long-accepted belief that holy war should only be waged in response to an attack. Qut justifies something new, holy war that attacks the enemy first.
All of these things are now coming together for bin Laden. The Islamic awakening, the fact that he's joined the Muslim Brotherhood, the fact that he's reading Sayyid Qutb, and these are politicizing him and giving him the idea that we need to create more perfect Islamic states around the Muslim world.
1979 would be a critical year for the Islamic awakening. The Ayatollah Khomeini overthrew the Shah of Iran. Americans were taken hostage at the US Embassy. Muslim militants around the world were electrified. That same year, the Grand Mosque in Mecca, the holiest of sites, became a battleground when militants seized it and the Saudi government sent in troops. Osama bin Laden was appalled that such a holy place had been defiled. And then, 1 month later, the final blow. The Soviet Union, godless and communist, invaded Afghanistan, a Muslim country. It was an affront to Islam. 1 year, 3 monumental events that would change bin Laden forever. The once shy, religious boy was about to answer the call to a violent jihad, and he would never look back.